Firstly, I just want to say I'm going to give you an overview. I have been to a couple of faculties, or we have been. So I don't know have we been to any one of the faculties that you people have been? Because, yes, at the science faculty? Yes. So bear with me, it's a little bit of a repetition, maybe to you. So what I'm going to do firstly is to just give you an overview of the center. As you heard, we call Center for Student Counseling. And like the lecturers, I must also add that many students, despite us going out there, don't know about our services. They walk past our unit, we're based here, and they don't know about the services. So it's very important. The focus today here is, and if there is time left over, I just want to emphasize how essential our services have become, and I'll speak a little bit to it also about how our services are just escalating. And if we're experiencing pressure, I can only say that you guys are also experiencing pressure by virtue of what you witness, what students come to you with. Can you give me the next slide, please? If it's okay, ek kan Afrikaans praat, maar ek verkies om in Engels te praat. So julle kan my enigiets vra. The next slide, please. Okay. Our vision and mission really is to strive in our center to be approachable, inclusive, client-centered, with our values based on shared humanity. We aim to promote citizenship by facilitating wellness and a personal agency and sustainable equity. Our mission is to provide the university community with psychological, developmental and support services with a focus on critical engagement, advocacy, and often the advocacy can become a problem if there's a challenge. Say for example, there's a student, I'm just giving an example, if somebody wants extra writing time, we sometimes find that people in accounting say, when they work in the real world, no, we cannot, they won't be allowed the time. So those are type of the advocacy roles that our center plays. And we compose of 5 units. And then also personal growth and graduation. Our core values is to be empathic. I must just add that although I'm the deputy, I'm also a clinical psychologist. So I head the therapy unit, and then I'm the deputy as well. Shared accountability, innovation, excellence, leadership in the service of others. The next slide, please. Okay. That's our director that was supposed to be here, and then she tasked me, but she left. That's our management team. The photographs are very handy. Believe it or not, when students come to us, they actually say, it's that green therapist, the short one with the blonde hair and so on. So we put up pictures there. And we actually say to them, here are the pictures, who did you see? Especially if they come once and then they come after a few months, depending on the academic. So those are the people, this is the management group, and those are all the heads as well. Maybe I can point them out to you. She is the PA to the director. Auxin is the head of the academic unit. Auxin Star, she could have been to many of your faculties because they go into the faculties to do assessments and things, and the workshops as well. Marsha, to your first, Dr. Marsha Leekman, she's a disability unit. She will always engage with people around extra writing time and making facilities available. Then Yako at the back, he's the head of the equality unit, and that's me looking slightly differently. And that's Almarie, she's my senior psychologist, she works in our unit. And then Timmy Markwood at the graduate recruitment. So just that you have a face and a name. Sure? What, sorry? Very easy, Parker. And if you forget my name, if you know the Taj Mahal, I'm named after her. Next one. The English one. Okay. So these are our 5 units. The equality unit. Claudia, just tell me if I'm out with equality. Okay, fine. The equality unit, let me just emphasize, is the only unit that sees staff and students. It's important to remember that because the rest of the units focus on students only. I'll speak a little bit just so you can get it over. The unit for academic counseling and development. Those are basically, and I will go into a little bit more detail, in terms of academic struggles that students have, in terms of choosing time management, and they are very, very busy, as you all know, and participate with readmissions at the beginning of the year. So that is the hub of that. Then the unit for graduate career services, they focus more on the work and so on. And then the disability unit, as I said, helps students well in advance if they have visual problems or hearing problems. And the university has advanced in certain areas. First, we just took on students with impaired vision, but we've now opened up that to students that have hearing disabilities as well. And that can be challenging because there's a lot of negotiation that's due, like sign language and things like that. It can be challenging for lecturers as well. And obviously the braille and things. Then the unit that I head, we do psychotherapy, individual as well as group, and then we have a social worker. I think it's important for lecturers to know that there's a social worker, and as strange as it might sound to you, we often get many students that are hungry, and particularly during exam time. But I'll speak to that a little bit later. Most importantly, if you can, I'm not sure whether they put stickers in that box. We have an ER24 crisis service, and if you have the opportunity to have your cell phone, I want to advocate that you actually do write down that number in an emergency. It will come up later on one of the slides, so that's us as well. So in other words, we work until 4:30, but from 4 onwards we have the crisis service. Next slide, please. Please stop me if I'm going too fast. English, yeah.
It's Afrikaans.
That's Afrikaans.
This one, Afrikaans.
English, who's English? Okay, there. The equality unit is a new unit that assigned. They were originally, just to give you some context, were called the HIV, and now they have broadened into it, and they're under our auspices. Their main role is to coordinate, educate, and raise awareness around sexuality, gender, HIV/AIDS, and anti-discrimination. Oversee the implementation of the SU's policy on unfair discrimination, sexual harassment, and HIV/AIDS. For example, you all know about the rape culture movement, how that went, and so they were also involved in those things. What I will say a little bit, just to give you some sense, sometimes we have students that get raped and they don't actually want to go the disciplinary route if it's done by a fellow student. So they come to us, I'm speaking from a therapeutic point of view, and say, look, such and such happened to me, but I don't want the person to be expelled or so on. And then they say, I just want the person to get a light rap on the knuckle. Then they can go the equality unit route, which, for example, will do a mediation between that person and the so-called alleged person that was on the other side. They also serve as a centralized one-stop service for students and staff managing complaints of unfair discrimination and various forms of harassment that often presents itself, students among students and staff among staff, and vice versa as well. I must just repeat, and sorry I'm forgetting I was speaking to Tigerbird. They do go to Tigerbird every fortnight, and they're based in the TSR building. So that's what the Tigerbird staff doing as well. So that's all the services are also available at Tigerbird. Maybe just in terms of capacity fewer times, but they are available, and it's important for them to know. Then provide
sorry to interrupt, I asked based where? I didn't get that.
At TSR.
Okay.
Miskien sê ek dit nou in Afrikaans, want dit is nou soos in my kop is. Say where the gym is, then everybody will know where the...
So thank you.
Okay. Provide comprehensive HIV and LGBTI services, and some of the challenges they have, as you know, the students want same toilets, this and that, so everybody needs to be aware that it's user-friendly for all the students from all various types of sexual orientation. Next slide, please.
It's English.
Okay. They based where we are now. It's now recently been named. End of last year it was called Simon and Corley House. That's here. This is this building where they are based. Unfair Sun for reporting cases, discrimination. Then it's also under Marty Supposed Sun by AC.za. And they also go to the Tigerbird, and they have Facebook and Twitter and all those things available. We at the unit where I work, for example, we don't do that because of the ethical constraints that we are placing. Next slide, please. Okay, the academic unit, they provide support for students, study methods, choice of study, tests and exams, stress time management, achievement of their potential via individual consultations, work sessions, self-help material. Let me also say they have a walk-in service whereby students can daily go in, and their walk-in service is slightly different from the unit where I work. I'll talk to you a little bit about that. Armin is the head, and there's the Claudia that I said namesake. She's the psychometrist. The others are interns. They also have intern psychologists that come and do their internship with them. So every year we have different people. And we're very sad to say that Winnie has left us for greener pastures.
Excellent.
Excellent. They often advertise workshops when students register for the workshop. Then the unit for graduate career services, they organize general accounting. I'm sure you've all seen these big markers towards the end of the year. And the director and everybody goes there. Those are all the different companies that come there to promote their companies. They employ, interview students and so on. So they teach them interview skills, CV writing, cover letters and interviewing, responsible for publishing of the recruitment program booklet and so on. So that's what they do. Margaret is the head in the middle, Volna and then Annette, and that's Rebecca, and that's the secretary, Delisha. There we go. They also have a career portal, Marty's Careers. They provide individual discussion sessions as well about your career. They have a resource center whereby students, they just basically behind us slightly there. They call at 43. And then you can also, there's their address as well and their telephone. But you have it on the little booklets with the different pamphlets as well. So those are that. The career exhibition, I'm sure, is this big hub. I don't know if you guys go there or if ever attended, but it'd be worthwhile to go there and attend and see all the different companies that promote the companies for students to get employed as well. Next one, please. That's a disability unit. As I said, we focus on what is possible. We try and assist students wherever they can. Text conversion takes a lot of their time for the students that are disabled. If I must just mention, sometimes the student that comes with a disability is disadvantaged because they have to wait for the text conversion, and that's important that lecturers are aware that then it almost delays them if the material is not handed out on a timely basis. So it actually compromises them, but I think they've got good working relationships with the what you call the people in the faculties, the admin person, faculty council, somebody. But they have good arranged with them as well. And I must just say they go to Tygerberg as well. And they do offer the extra writing for Tygerberg. At Tygerberg it can be a little bit challenging for the medical, and when it comes to practical things, exams, especially like the medical students do OSCEs. So sometimes if a student, I'm just giving examples to make it real, stutter, particularly if they have to examine, so they may try and make allowances for those kind of concessions. Not always very easy, but it can be difficult as well. So they do have and go to Tygerberg regularly as well. They liaise with faculties, with students with disability and learning needs. So the extra writing time, there are different 2 periods during the course of the year. At the beginning of the year that these applications, and they're very, very busy now. It seems almost everybody, we are working towards, or they are working towards making it a universal policy, which they actually do in certain countries, so that we don't need to apply for each student for 10 minutes per half an hour or so on. So we're trying to work, but it's not resonating so well with the academia as well. That's just one of them. Every year they host Casual Day. I'm sure you're aware of it. They sell stickers and then just highlight a couple of things. From the Villiers, all of them participate just to highlight and then collect funds as well. Casual Day. And there's usually a prize as well for the people that participate in different units. Next slide, please. Okay. I would appreciate it if you could take time to write down that number. That's an ER number. Let me just emphasize, it's not only for psychological problems. We work in collaboration with Campus Health. So if you have a colleague that gets a seizure, or a student that gets a seizure, or any kind of attack, or is physically not well, or faints in the class, you can call that number. You must just tell them where they are, and they will come out to you, either with an ambulance or something. You must just describe. So it's good to keep that on your speed dial in case you need it. Well, even if you yourself don't feel well. We've had a staff member last year that had a heart attack and so on. So it happens, and that's the reality of life. So it's very important too.
So even if you're off
Sorry? Even if you're off Stellenbosch, we offer it at business school, the service, the ER, at Kwanda at the Worcester campus, at the Belleville campus, and also at the military for the ambulance service. So we cover all the campuses. They can call the ER number. Where we are concerned, it is quite an asset for us. As you know, most times you find students in the middle of the night, when it comes 12 o'clock and they're studying, then they feel depressed or they feel suicidal or whatever. They go out to them, or what happens, they bring them physically to our building. Most importantly, I must stress, they are not psychologists, they are merely counselors. So they follow them up, they do a little bit of debriefing with them or see what the problem is. And it's important we follow them up the next day. The professional people then see them the very next morning. If somebody's called or somebody has been raped or something has happened or been attacked, they often get attacks and hijacking and all those type of things that happen. So we will follow them up and then attend to them. They merely just do the emergency service. I must also just speak to you regarding the rape. We try and get a female person to accompany if they want a female, but they do come out at night. And then some bases, there's a protocol that they follow, but I don't want to go into detail about that. If there's time, you're welcome to ask me, and I will focus on that as well. Next slide, please. Have you all got the number? Then the unit that I head, we provide support for depression, anxiety, substance use, eating disorders, adjustment and relationship problems, as well as severe trauma that can be of any nature, physical, or students get attacked. And believe me, we get so many students that get attacked. I think the students are under the notion Stellenbosch is a little island on their own. They walk across the streets when they get attacked, they don't know who they've seen and what they've seen. It should be your freedom, but unfortunately it's not like that. Students get attacked. And so we encourage students that they work or have a buddy system and so on. We also have social work service, which many people are not aware of. The social worker is based at the unit that I work. So what she does is to provide, at the beginning of the welcoming period, you'll be amazed how many students we come here that haven't been accepted at the university, that don't have accommodation and don't have food. And a new thing that we've just seen now, the senior students are coming early as well. And they're also asking for accommodation, the postgrad student. So they want accommodation, they want food, and the period doesn't actually allow for that. And it's become a challenge. We're actually going to give it through to the executive management of the university, because it's really become challenging. So during the welcoming service, they will deal with all walk-ins. And sometimes they don't only come alone, they come with a family. Like this year we had the problem that we suddenly heard when we opened the residence, there's a mother with a baby, you know, and it doesn't allow. But I'm just saying those are the type of challenges that we're experiencing. And we opened on the 23rd, but then they were coming by the 15th. And the SRC and SASCO get in the middle of that. So it is becoming challenging, something that we need to look at, because where do you house the people? Can you send them back if they come from Timbuktu? So it is something that we need to see, and I think it's a reality. Our services are confidential and free of charge. The one thing I must stress with you is, often when people refer a student, they want feedback. According to the board, we cannot give you feedback. What you can do, you have the full right to say, please have you gone and let me know. But once you've referred, sometimes in very difficult cases, because I'm the manager, I'm not the therapist, I can perhaps engage with the lecturers or the head of department and say certain things or so on. So it's important that you do know that. We sometimes give them 6 certificates. If we're compelled to and they're comfortable with the diagnosis, but mostly we are vague, not because we want to be vague, but just to protect the ethics. if, for example, something happened and they don't want it known. Although many of the students actually share the content of what happened to them with the lecturer. And that is so important for you, and I don't know if I will have time to go into that you keep your boundaries as well. Because once you know everything about the student, it puts you back against the wall, because now they say, I can't submit my thesis, I've got a psychiatric condition, or this that happened to me. So it's important that you refer, that you can recognize the things, but to make sure that you refer. Then, as I said, Tigerwood campus, that is the number. I don't know if they can see that little slide. They base also at the TSR. We've got 2 psychologists working there, and here we have about 5, and we are forced to buy in private psychologists because we cannot cope with the service. But the one thing I must stress is that we have a crisis slot every day. We started with 1, and we now have gone up to 3, and 3 is not enough. All the students are coming in crisis. And believe me, when it comes to 4 o'clock the afternoon, I suppose they finish their lecture, or Friday afternoon, they come in there, having suicidal ideation, having things. And if we look for the time that I've been here, all the numbers have escalated. And I will give you the numbers maybe at a later stage. So it's absolutely, I can just imagine how it also impacts on the work that you do in terms of lecturing and so on. But that's essentially that. Next slide, please. That's in the ER. And that's all the staff component. We're currently 45 people. Okay. As you know, the university is not giving any more posts to anybody in a hurry. So we confronted with the challenges to accommodate all students. So I just want to speak a little bit about what we do at the unit where I work. I can't say we're the busiest, but we have the most people coming through our unit. So what I did a couple of years back is, because we would have somebody that had a small argument with somebody that would come there for counseling, and we would have somebody that's severely depressed or is suicidal. So I introduced what we call a screening system. So every day between 11 and 12:30, we have a screening. Then it allows us, instead of having a waiting list, we then know who is sitting on that waiting list. So a psychologist will screen that person, and we will identify people like that. Either standard, that means the person can wait 2 weeks or something, or urgent, that person will be seen within that same week, and if it's a crisis, we accommodate that person the same day. What concerns me very much is that we're getting more and more students presenting with suicidal ideation. It's really become a challenge. For you, I suppose, as well, if you know that, and with the kind of, we're finding that more and more students are coming. We don't have proper statistics, because students don't actually reveal on the intake for the application of the university. We do ask for disabilities, but very few will put a psychiatric disability. They might put a physical disability, but they will never put a psychiatric disability. But we're finding that we already find students with a diagnosis, either bipolar or schizophrenia, that come into the system, and as soon as the pressure of academics go, then you will find that they can't. Professor Ben van Heerden at Tigerberg is baie lief om te sê die willetjies kom dan af. So that's what happens really. I don't know, I'm going to leave it there. I don't know what the time frame is. Do you want to ask me, or do you want me to go into a couple of other things? There are many hands, or you can organize that in here. I can.
I think we can move into...
But they've got some questions. I want it to be interactive so they can ask while they...
No, that's what I mean, into the question.
Okay.
I don't know whose hand was first now. Let's see, you will transfer and then ask the question, and then the third one after that.
So I wanted to find out this is then you can refer if you get to encounter a situation where you see that students is stressed and they really against you when things go bad. Then what should I be doing? Should I be saying to the student, this is simple?
Yes, absolutely. For us, it's important that they come early. For example, if somebody is mildly depressed compared to severely depressed, the sooner they come to us, the better.
But my question is, if I were to raise that with a student, you may view it in the way that, because I'm not a professional, I'm an incident where.
Yeah, that's why I got another slide, but I don't think I want to come where I unpack a little bit about it. I think it's just important to say, you know, if you're experiencing, I think you must just make it a really conscious.
Yeah.
Often, you know, I find that you maybe, for example, the handling in life, just silence, or they don't use the wrong space. You can just say, I've noticed that it's not, for example, why you can experience problems. Maybe they want to disclose it to money, but we want them to go to the assistant or CCT, go for further assistance or see. And the one thing with me is that people say to me doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. The more we normalize it, and we, all of us, including all of us, we also have challenges. We also go to clients and we have places in the United States. So I think it's just a matter of raising it. And so we also, I must mention, host a mental health day. We did one last year and it was very successful. We went on to the airplane. We are recreating our readers, we speak on the radio. And this year the SRC also wanted to come on board. We actually went to Professor Swinmore and said they want to raise this mental health awareness campaign. And we're still going to be having a meeting with them in this year. So I said let's combine, let's do it together, because everybody is becoming more and more aware of what the mental health challenges in students. Does that answer this?
It does.
And you're welcome to call me. If you have a specific problem, you're welcome to call our unit. I get many lecturers calling me and saying, the student does this or that, and they say they're attending you. How do I go on? Sometimes they've got Asperger's, and they can't submit on time because what or what not. So that you can also set boundaries. There are few that take advantage of the system, of the illness as well. They will give you a list about that. They come to us for certificates, and then they and we never give them a certificate. You will see when we write, the student says they had, that means they come to us because, and we can't validate that unless they are existing clients or they're dealing with crisis, then we assess and we go based on that. You have another question?
I was just curious, we never worked with these things. When the students are suicidal, is it mostly because of academic pressure or peer pressure or a combination thereof? Or, like, as you said, mental, schizophrenic type, or whatever? I have no idea.
Let me say, when people are suicidal, it's multifactorial. It's a whole lot of circumstances. Firstly, yes, it comes into a different environment. When it comes to university, it's very different. You will watch the ones and one. So, multiple factors. A vulnerability. What we find when we actually look into, we think it's the lack of resilience. I don't want to blame those of you are parents, but you know what happens now? We find, you know the term helicopter parents? The parents do everything for them in their school. They go so far as to do their assignments. So when they come, and if you are first generation students or parents that haven't been to university, they are vulnerable. So it's multiple, it's vulnerability, personal circumstances. I also think the infrastructure change. If you look at family structures, how many of the students' parents are not divorced or they're unemployed or they don't have financing. So I think it's a whole combination of many things. As I said to you, we started this program for during exam time. Over and above the benefits that they get from the stress or whatever, we found that students actually, how do you write exams if you're hungry and don't have food? The brain doesn't have energy, the scientists will make it. They don't function. So we started an initiative to actually do an extra, and I must say, Professor Swinmore sanctioned it, and we got the money, so during the exam time we give them food boxes. And then they get fussy. They don't just want food, they want pizza, Roman's pizza. There was a lady at the back.
My question speaks to your final comment about the food. Can you elaborate on the social workers service? Because I have read that the students, they need something, they can only come once, say for a meal or once for toiletries. So what is the extent of the support that is given?
Let me explain to you. Firstly, the buses make allowances. if they have bursaries. They're supposed to get a stipend for food and they get stipend for transport or for book. So each bursary. So obviously, students have maybe never managed money, so they don't necessarily manage money. We assess and we use a means test. That's why I said to you, it become a problem for us. If we find that the senior students come in the beginning of the year when we kind of catering for first year students, and then they also go hungry and they also take advantage. So advantage sometimes or sometimes know about the system. So it's not, it is, each case is individually assessed by the social worker. I must also mention that we have work-study programs as well. Many of you might be aware the students are based here. So they also advertise the previous year and then they can apply for work-study. So we assess the situation, we give them, we are aware. And I must also tell you sometimes they don't disclose what they have. We sometimes have actual food boxes, like a gift of the giver, sometimes we get physical donation, but we also give food vouchers. And we've now learned to give a food voucher at Pick and Pay or something, otherwise they use the money for something else. So we do assess, and it's not once off. I mean, during exam time, that's an extra. Remember, they do get food allowances. What we do, if we can, we negotiate with the residences, and we sometimes send them there to have a meal. And believe me, then some of them don't want that. They don't want the full meal, everything is a balanced meal. But those are just some of the challenges. But we never just say once off, we assess what the situation is. Because sometimes you can get the parents become being retrenched or something, and they don't. They say consultation. So we just arbitrarily say no, we assess each person. And the demand is increased for the social workers so much so that we've asked somebody to help our social workers. As I said earlier, they don't get posts, so we're using somebody internally so that there is somebody to help the social workers.
Any other questions? Would like your questions?
What good first actually? Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm on the
Okay, I want to ask firstly about the emergency number. Is that number toll free and is it always answered? Because I see the university emergency number is not a toll free number, and
that number is always answered. The one thing I must just highlight to you, they don't pay for that, but they will call the caller will receive the call, they won't take a note of what it is. I must emphasize that the ambulance service per se is not free. The counselor service is free, but not the ambulance. But it doesn't mean they won't take you to a hospital. They will then tell us, a student called and they can't pay the bill for the ambulance, and then we will look at our extra funding as well. But the call, it's not, they can call the number, they call them back sometimes, and then they can also, we recently heard somebody saying that somebody calls and then they're in a panic. There are options for them. First to log the call, then to go onto a counselor who then will talk them through. Because often if you panic sick and you have somebody having a heart attack in front of you, you get angstig yourself and you don't know what to do. So they will then talk them through that they can choose that option. What happens, people want immediately. An ambulance, as you know, are distant from wherever they are. They try and locate the closest ambulance to send as soon as possible. But it's important to note, and the students also know, that the ambulance service is for their own.
I'm a little bit concerned about the screening process. Because if we are going to screen and some of the students have to wait for 2 weeks or a month before they are seen. So I'm just wondering, because obviously the mental, the social, and the psychological feedback does continue to connect the formats, and which would just highlight that there's no possibility of having post to say we never had a scenario or situation where you had probably screened that student who parents thought they had a fight and now they're acting out in some way with depression, and you've seen that, but the other one, when you see the psychology or social like that, now when they come, eventually come, the problem is even more, or there are a number of issues which now they are presenting. or parents taking a game to say it might be a symptom of the actual problem you're presenting at that particular time. So how do you manage that?
Well, like I said, firstly, we all give them that sticker that we have. When they come to us and they walk in, we give them the emergency sticker. So there's always help. We have a crisis slot, we also tell them, you might be getting a code in 2 weeks' time, but if something happens in the interim, you're welcome. As I said, we have crisis slots every day. So if you come to me today and you kind of dislike me from the therapy, and then maybe you were attacked in the meantime, or something has happened at home, or you had lost a parent, or whatever it is, there's always room for them to come to us. We never send anybody back that we think has a problem. We will put them in our crisis cells. And we even gone so far now, if we can't cope, that we will to pull in ER that will do the intermediate work and we will follow. So we ensure that they get that message loud and clear. That you cannot copy as an emergency number. During the day, the emergency numbers come through to us. So we attend to them or they come to us. So we will always then circle them and see them. But I must just say, this demand, this is, last year we had about 1,000 something students who got a clear. And this year we have about 2,000 students, almost double. It's 600 physical. I'm not talking about sessions. I'm talking about physical students coming to. It's 600 students. And the staff remains. And that's why I say we buy in other psychologists. If we don't like the fact, because we're very aware of how an academic year works. By March you need to have an exam, by June you need to have something. So if you are left over and over, we try and call them the ones trouble that we do it. They don't answer their cell phone, they don't read the SMSs, they don't read the email, then they come. So we now note down and say, we called you or we sent you a message to say, and what they also don't do is acceptable. They don't sometimes cancel. So we lose sessions because they don't cancel. But that's how I understand students. They're still developing into leadership and so on. So we hope that they get it. Because in the real world, let me be honest with you, if you look for a psychologist or a specialist, you won't get an appointment within a week. Highly unlikely. You will wait 3 weeks, if not a month, for a specialist or a psychologist if you want. I'm really saying. But we really, I must say, we can sleep peacefully at night because we know we put all the person in place. Like one of my colleagues said the other day, Mom, can't we just close the door at 4? I said, no, sorry, you can't close the door at 4. That's when they come in and they're like, oh my word, I'm going to be on my own. You know? So we can't close the door at 4, so we accept them and we make arrangements.
How do the students locate for staff? Where can we go? Is there a place, a number we can call for staff, especially with regards to mental health issues? How do we address that with the as well?
We have had numerous of contacts. That falls under HR. It's Maureen Kennedy. They do arrange for staff to be seen by ICAS. It's ICAS and they get counselors in. Maureen has just recently told us that they are thinking of changing the service. I think sometimes people don't want to see the counselors, etc. But it's HR, Maureen Kennedy. They are the people. But let me say, there's a major crisis. If you have a colleague that's suicidal or something, we've actually gone into departments where people have locked themselves up in bathrooms and so on, said, I want to kill myself, or relationship problems where partners have come to start. We will never say no. You can't pick it up for long term because it has consequences, but we do, in an emergency case, we will assist.
In general, about all the services, during the presentation you spoke often about workshops that are given or information given through to students. What method is used to get this through in terms of this?
It's on the website pages. The students for the workshops, especially academic unit does more workshops.
So students need to log into
They will log in, they advertise it, we've got a special person that does that. It's given through to them. So if they just go onto our web pages, and it's on the general web page as well. So if they go into our website, they will see when the workshops are, the times and the dates and so on. They used to also nominal pictures because if you're on but it's actually available for them. And it's available at Tigerboat as well, the workshops as you see. You must read the title. So it is available. You have a question?
I just want to know with regards to students with poor eyesight, if they come to your center as well, for example, their study problem and you evaluate them and actually say, well, you need glasses, is there funds available for students to help them in that regard?
I don't think they have the necessary funding, but what they will do is depending on the extent of the visual impairment. We don't per se refer them to a psychometrist or to a specialist, but if they were to come, they will try and see, and then we would have to involve the social worker and see. But the problem is really funding is very limited. But it doesn't mean the person cannot come to us and say there's a problem, because you can refer to the state hospital. The one thing I must say to you, the students don't like going to the state hospital. And we had a meeting at time about to get a psychiatrist there, and the psychiatrist said to us very nicely, Mumtaz, what makes your students so much more special than the needy and the poor and the elderly out in the community? If the students don't have the finance and they are needy, they must toe the line. So we said the only reason we asked them for that is because they have an academic structure, we don't want them to be exited. I also forgot to mention, we actually do have the services of the psychiatrist. He does some pro bono work. Obviously, you know, the fees are horrific. So he's based opposite Paul Lewis. So we give him an honorarium and we refer students to him every Tuesday. So that facility is also available.
Second question, with regards to ambulance services, is there a time period where you have to wait until the ambulance arrives? Is there anything in the policy? Because if the closest ambulance is an hour away and you need an ambulance now, what's in place to solve that challenge?
That's very difficult. So you know there are general ambulance services in Stellenbosch as well.
Yes.
So if I can, I'm not promoting the service. Remember, everything costs money.
Yes.
We had to motivate so strongly just to get the ER24, and then we sit and hover at the end of the year. Well, Professor Swinonkel, whoever is supposed to stand, agree to the monies that we need. And so we personally sometimes try the general ambulance number as well, and we struggle. I can't say mostly they just things people, sometimes it happens that there are multiple crises at the same time. That's unfortunately the reality. I don't know many of you heard about that student that sports student. I mean, she had a person, whatever the condition was, the ambulance also, and people really are angsty. They have angst, it seems much longer, but they try to dispatch us in this hospital. But unfortunately, that's beyond our control. We try the best and they do come. We've not had many incidents reported that they haven't come out. Here and there they could complain. I will also tell you what the students do. They call for the ambulance and then they take the person themselves. Then the ambulance comes and then there is no person to attend. Because people do want immediate action, which I understand particularly in a heart attack timing is something. But I think that's not the straightforward thing, that's not quite complex what is happening. But they do find it. Because we communicate with them regularly, we give them complaints to them and so on. Or we actually get feedback from all the campuses where they import the ambulance services, where they import the Auxin services.
Okay, are there any other questions? I think we can take one more. Anyone wants to ask a question?
The EO in the 24-hour process is exactly the same. The old regime, I don't know how many of you are aware here know Louis Klop. Louis used to be the crisis person. So when Louis exited the system, we then introduced the ER. So it's the same thing. It's one number, and that's why that 01 number is basically. The other number also takes you there. We just left it on it so that it's connected, because some people have the old number, so it still gets you through to the same ER.
very, very much, Auxin, an extremely insightful presentation. I learned a lot, and I'm sure the rest of the audience did as well. Challenging work, challenging times, and that's what makes it all the more remarkable, the work that you do. And we really thank you. Accept our small thanks from our side, and to just keep going. And our encouragement to keep on doing what you do. So, just a small token of our appreciation. I don't know if you're into coffee or tea. Tea. Yeah. So
That's my tea, so I drink about 10 cups of tea.
yeah. So when you use that.